And welcome to This Is Now. We begin with the very latest on a violent incident over the weekend in Kalihi. A gunman suspected of shooting a 27-year-old man and a 13-year-old boy is on the run. It happened at the Mayor Wright Homes complex early Saturday morning. We're told the victims were walking in the area when they were shot at. The 13-year-old was hit in his ankles, the 27-year-old wounded in his shoulder. Meanwhile, a security guard who witnessed the shooting was allegedly stabbed by another man who then ran away from the scene. Police were able to find that suspect, identified as 31-year-old Cyrus Michael. He's been charged with assault. All three victims were rushed to the hospital. The shooting suspect has only been described as an unknown male. If you know anything about this that could help police, call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. Out in central Oahu, HFD responded to a two-alarm fire in Wahiawa. This was the scene early this morning at the Department of Education's Central District office on California Avenue. Fire crews were called out just after 1:30. Took about half an hour to get the flames under control. No one was inside at the time. An investigator was on scene until about 7, trying to figure out what caused the fire to break out. The Trump administration says that SNAP benefits will be partially funded while the government shutdown continues. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
The Trump administration said Monday it will use a contingency fund to partially pay out SNAP benefits this month after rulings from 2 federal judges.
It cost over $9 billion to fund SNAP for a month, and we only have, I think it's $5.2 billion in the contingency fund. So you have a big shortfall.
The ongoing government shutdown caused a funding lapse, affecting more than 40 million Americans who rely on the food assistance program, including cancer patient Michelle Lockhart.
It's not just myself, it's others in the community, others like me, people that are no longer able to work, and without the SNAP benefits, we're unable to put food on the table.
The deadlock is also causing major disruptions at airports across the country.
What can you do about it? We're just in a spot where we have to wait.
Here on Capitol Hill, the Senate reconvened Monday, but there are few signs of progress to end the stalemate as Democrats continue to hold out for extensions to Affordable Care Act subsidies.
I'm not going to do it by being extorted by the Democrats who have lost their way.
In a 60 Minutes interview with Norah O'Donnell, President Trump made it clear he won't negotiate with Democrats until after the government reopens.
Your plan is to tell the Democrats to vote to end the shutdown.
Correct. Very simple.
And that you will put forward a health care plan?
No, we will work on fixing the bad health care that we have right now. We have terrible health care at too expensive for the people.
The shutdown is expected to become the longest ever Tuesday night. Erica Brown, Hawaii News Now.
And to help our neighbors in need through the shutdown, the state is issuing all SNAP recipients $250. In addition, the Hawaii Relief Program was launched with $100 million, which will go to temporary assistance for needy families funding. That helps with housing and utility payments. Governor Josh Green discussed the relief efforts on Sunrise this morning.
It is a great challenge. One of the reasons we can do it is because I was pretty prudent with the legislature. I'm greatly appreciative of their work by putting an additional $500 million into our rainy day fund 2 years ago when times were particularly good. So now that $500 million plus the billion we already had plus the interest, we have about $1.6 billion in our rainy day fund, and it grows about $60 million a year. So we do have the resources. It is not perfect. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm governing in kind of a cultural wartime, so to speak, with the administration.
Governor Green says he'll ask the federal government for a refund once SNAP funding resumes. He says the state's rainy day funds will likely be needed as tourism sags because so many are struggling. And local clinics for the Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC program, will remain open and fully operational during the shutdown. That's according to the Department of Health. All appointments, education programs, and benefit services are going on as normal. New participants are also being accepted. The DOH says many families in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, also qualify for WIC. Well, if you're one of the tens of thousands of daily bus riders on Oahu, you may soon have to find another way to get around. The union representing the bus workers says it is rejecting management's final contract offer, an action that could lead to a strike. Ben Gutierrez explains.
This was the Teamsters Union response to Oahu Transit Services' contract offer for about 1,400 employees of the bus. The letter firmly rejects the proposal, telling the workers, Oahu Transit Services does not care about you. which OTS denies.
So far, I've heard good things about it, at least from our perspective and from what we've been hearing from employees.
The letter from the Teamsters urges workers to vote no on the offer, which could lead to a walkout. That would mean the bus would not be available for its 130,000 daily riders.
That's why we're getting out in front again to update the public, to let them know that, hey, this could be a possibility. We just want to precaution everyone so that they could think of alternative ways to get around. So think of some alternate solutions, whether it be carpooling with families and friends, whether it's to the rail, using your scooter, whatever it is, just to think of alternative ways.
OTS provided the proposal Friday after 5 months of bargaining, calling it its last, best, and final offer.
We provide a very competitive package, which includes many things.
The offer includes a 16% wage increase over 4 years, along with full medical coverage, full lifetime medical coverage for retirees, and a full pension. But the union says it's dissatisfied over several items, such as allowing non-operator employees to pick up bus runs. OTS explained drivers would have priority for runs, and the rule would help staffing shortages, which have forced the department to cancel days off for workers.
We have trainers, dispatchers who have been operators, still carry their CDLs, and part of the proposal is to allow them to be able to operate the bus, drive the routes in order to avoid canceled days off.
The Teamsters also claims OTS has been underpaying the bus workers and doesn't match wages in other cities with a lower cost of living, such as San Francisco. There, a top driver makes about $46 an hour. The pay here is about $34 an hour.
But when we looked into San Francisco, not only they do have a higher wage, however, they do pay a huge part to their pension, a huge part to their medical, and they also have to pay for retiree medical. So we need to compare apples to apples, and again, we believe our package is very competitive.
OTS plans to have informational meetings on the offer with its employees in the coming week. The Teamsters says it plans to have a press conference at a later date.
And that was Ben Gutierrez reporting. The speeding through intersections could lead to a hefty fine on Oahu. The Department of Transportation has now activated speed enforcement cameras. Fines will be issued by mail to the vehicle owner and range from $167 to $313. The cameras at 10 downtown Honolulu intersections have been issuing warnings since March. We're told that so far about 500,000 warnings have been sent out. For a list of the intersections that have cameras, head to our website, hawaiinewsnow.com.
And happy Monday, everybody. A quick look at our first alerts outside. We have a high surf advisory that's been extended further in time for north and east facing shores of Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, and the north facing shores of Maui out there. For north and east facing shores, again, until 6 p.m. this evening. Hawaii Island is not included in that alert from the National Weather Service. Our surf and shoreline forecast, north facing shores are on the decline, but around 10 to 15 feet this afternoon and evening. East facing shores around 7 to 10. And a quick look, we also have a small craft advisory because of some choppy seas out there. Seas between 7 to 10 feet until 6 p.m. this evening. As we're going forward, we're going to be continue to see this low pressure system off to our west slip away. I'll give you a breakdown of the next weather maker coming up.
Thank you, Drew. Coming up, heads up for Windward Oahu residents. An extensive project at Kailua Beach starts today. What it means for commuting around town. Plus, a young Oahu surfer continues to recover after a terrifying crash on the North Shore. I'll look at his progress and the road ahead. Welcome back. Starting today, expect traffic delays in Kailua for the next 3 weeks. The city will be installing a sewer connection for the new Ocean Safety Operations Hub at Kailua Beach. Work will run from Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. at the intersection of Mokulua Drive, Kanepu Place, and Alala Road. The project was supposed to begin last month but got postponed due to permitting issues. The new Ocean Safety Base Station is slated to open in September of next year. It's been almost 5 months since a young surfer nearly lost his life in a North Shore crash. Annalisa Burgos has an update on Dakota Briley's recovery.
In June, a driver veered off the road on Oahu's North Shore on Kamehameha Highway and pinned Dakota Briley between two vehicles, nearly killing the 20-year-old. He had to be put in a coma and spent nearly 2 months in the intensive care unit at the Queens Medical Center. His sister Erin Lau recalls that fateful time.
He had fractures to his spine, his brain, a punctured lung, and so it's really, we're so thankful to Queens and everyone's love and prayer that is how he got through that.
Since August, Briley has been at Craig Hospital, a specialized spine and brain rehab facility in Denver, Colorado.
Every day he works hard at a number of different therapies. The first week he started to talk again, and since then he's laughing, he's joking, he's singing. He got to go in a pool for the first time since the accident, and so it's just been an incredible milestone.
Amid renewed hope and gratefulness, the reality of the accident's financial toll.
We know the road ahead is long. We're going to have to do some changes to the house to accommodate a wheelchair, and so all of the funds, generosity from the North Shore, from around the world has really made a difference. His journey is nowhere near from over, but he has been so optimistic and he knows we can do this.
Find a link to the family's GoFundMe page on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Annalisa Burgos, Hawaii News Now.
As the government shutdown continues, the historic sites at Pearl Harbor remain open. Casey Lund takes us there after the break. How's it going, Drew?
Hey, Mark. We've got your first alert radar and satellite coming up after the break. I'll break down the next rain chance as we're heading into this Friday.
First Alert weather with Drew Davis.
All right, well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your Halloween weekend. Here's what we're tracking going forward into the first week of November. Again, we've got that first alert for you. The high surf advisory has been extended for north and east facing shores until 6 p.m. this evening. Less rainfall expected the next several days. and more showers as we're heading into the weekend. Again, here's a quick look at that high surf advisory we have up for the north and east facing shores of Kauai, Oahu, and the north facing shores of Molokai and Maui until 6 p.m. this evening. Our surf and shoreline forecast, the actual numbers, north facing shores around 10 to 15 for this afternoon. This is specifically for Oahu. East facing shores between 7 to 10, and you can see small on south facing shores and west facing shores are continuing to drop out there as well. Excuse me. A quick look at our first alert radar and satellite as we're going forward. We're still watching this disturbance that's off to our southwest. This is going to continue to move away. This gave a better chance for rainfall over Kauai throughout the weekend, really yesterday afternoon and last night. But as we're zooming in, relatively dry across each island. If anything, a few sprinkles along the windward portions of each island, but relatively dry out there. Some showers just offshore of Hawaii Island out there, just off the windward side of the island, and Kauai's been relatively dry as well. As we're going forward, however, we're going to be watching another front that's going to be moving in from the north. Here's the front that's been kind of stalled to our north over the past couple of days. That's going to continue falling apart. There's that disturbance behind the timestamp right there. Going forward in time, less rainfall expected throughout Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then we're watching another front that could be moving in Friday into Saturday. This is going to evolve a lot. It's still pretty far out in the weather models, but you can see as we're going into Saturday afternoon, you could be seeing some moisture moving across Kauai and Oahu, maybe even getting down to Maui County, but that's going to evolve pretty substantially as we're going forward over the next couple of days and the weather models. Our winds outside right now, pretty breezy out of the east and northeast, actually a little bit east and southeasterly over near Hawaii Island. And as we're going forward in our 7-day forecast, you'll notice a few showers possible out there for Tuesday. I think this might be displaying incorrect data, so I don't want you to pay too much attention to that. But we are going to be seeing less rainfall throughout Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday out there. And then right now we're watching for the better chance for rainfall going into Friday and Saturday. I'll give you the breakdown online and on our Hawaii News Now First Alert weather app throughout the rest of this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Drew. Well, Pearl Harbor remains open even with the government shutdown. That's because of local partners like the Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum stepping up with funding to keep operations going. Casey Lund has more on what's being done to preserve visitor access.
Aloha, good afternoon from the USS Bowfin, the Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum, one of the nonprofits, these sites that are national treasures really, that have stepped up and helped to keep Pearl Harbor open, make sure that the National Park Service people are paid, the lights are on, and the gates are open. Visitors are here today, and that's because of the generosity of these nonprofits like the USS Bowfin Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum, I should say. Homer Ring is with us, Executive Director. Tell us a little bit about, I want to play some video here in a moment, that kind of chaotic day when the first day of the shutdown, we had hundreds of people lined up, weren't sure if they were going to be able to get in. You folks, Michael Carr as well with the Battleship Missouri, stepped in to kind of make sure that happened, right?
Yes, we unfortunately it wasn't our first government shutdown. We thought we had everything ready to go for that morning, but it took a little bit of time to get all the okays out of Washington, D.C. But as a conglomerate effort between ourselves, as you said, the Battleship Missouri, the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum, and the Pacific Historic Parks, we're all donating over $10,000 a day to help keep the National Park Service and specifically the Pearl Harbor National Memorial open so that anyone who's been planning the trip for months or even the local people who are wanting to come down and experience this beautiful vista here and experience some history, learn about science and technology, they have this available to them.
Perfect. And I want to show some video. You know, we were here that day. This is the most visited site on Oahu. People come from all over the world. They save up their money our whole lives to come check out the Arizona Memorial. The Bowfin is, again, not technically part of the National Park Service. That was a kind of crazy day when we weren't sure what was going on. We were both there that morning, right?
We had assurances from the Department of Interior that we had everything set up. We'd be ready to go at first thing at 0700. But like with all government bureaucracies, we're a little late. So we did what we did to help keep those who were trying to visit that morning comfortable and keep them informed of what was going on. And by noon, we were able to have the doors open for everyone.
And I mean, that, you know, we have veterans that come here that this is so special for them to be able to kind of connect with this history, and for young people, the younger generation, come here and learn about what the greatest generation did in World War II and the things that folks did to keep our freedoms secure. I want to just give you one last chance. If you want to come 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., then you can do some Kama'aina stuff and things for vets as well.
So we've been a part of this community since 1981. You know, we have 5,000 to 6,000 school kids coming here every year for free field trips at the museum's own expense. We also offer $100,000 in scholarships every year. But we also want people to come here and visit and see some of the history themselves. So Veterans Day weekend is coming up.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to be offering free tickets to Kamaʻaina Military. We're getting the ticket link set up, so if you pay attention to our website at bofin.org or any of our social media channels, people will see the link that'll be available. So Veterans Day weekend, you have no excuse not to bring the family down.
I love that. We'll make sure we remind people about that. I want to thank you for being with us today, Homer. Again, bofin.org is where you can get tickets, you can donate if you want as well. They could really use the support. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Thank you, Casey. The Kauai community came together over the weekend to say a hui hou to a beloved Kumu Hula. Dylan Ancheta was there.
Hula, memories, and aloha filled the Kilohana plantation ground Saturday as hundreds of people turned out to honor the life of Janelle Marie Leinaʻala Paval Jardine. She died on October 4th at the age of 51 after a 15-month battle with pancreatic cancer.
I knew my mom was such an amazing person, but she's lived such a humble life. So truly, I didn't know what to expect today, how many people would be here, but it's felt so nice.
As the Kumu Hula for the award-winning Halau Kaleimokihana o Leinaʻala, she touched countless lives over her nearly 30 years of teaching hula. Generations of her dancers took the stage one last time for their kumu.
She was always kind. Even when we were dancing together with Kumure, she was funny. She was so much fun to be around, and just her spirit. She was always light. She was always so easy to get along with.
The celebration not only honored her life and her rich legacy of hula, but it also highlighted her very strong sense of faith that got her through so many of life's challenges.
I went back to medical school 2 days after my mom passed, and they asked me how I've done it, and it's really because of my faith in God. And if I didn't have my faith, I wouldn't be okay, and that truly comes from my mom and how she raised us to just trust Keakua, love him, and follow his journey for us.
She grew up surrounded by the warmth of her close-knit family, where her parents instilled in her the values of love, kindness, generosity, and resilience that she carried with her and shared with each of us throughout her life.
That phrase, live like Leinaʻala, so true. If you think of life like that, you're gonna be happy.
As Kauai mourns the loss of her physical presence, they say her spirit will live on through the heart of the Halau, now led by her daughter, Kumu Breeze Paval. Kumu Leinaʻala leaves behind her husband Sean, daughters Breeze and Jeslie, and son Napalu. Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
Dylan, thank you. And after an epic World Series to clinch back-to-back championships, the LA Dodgers enjoy a grand celebration. Highlights from today's victory parade. one-of-a-kind World Series deserves a magnificent parade.
For the second year in a row, the Los Angeles Dodgers are world champions. This was the scene in LA today as thousands filled the streets to congratulate their champs. The Dodgers clinched the title Saturday night in Toronto after rallying past the Blue Jays in a Game 7 that went into extra innings. They are baseball's first repeat champions since the New York Yankees of the early 2000s.
We're over here on First and Hill with some more Dodgers fans. I gotta tell you, we're not actually even on the parade route. We stopped these fans on their way there to talk to us. I want to talk to Aletta. You came from Ontario Chino area this morning. You brought your whole family here. So does that?
My daughters, my nephew, and my son.
So does that mean some people are skipping school today?
They're sick. We're a little bit sick.
But you know it's worth it, right?
Yes, it's worth it. Come on. 2 back to back, we had to come. We missed the first one, so we had to make it to this one.
Back to back, what a luxury, huh? This is the Dodgers' 9th title in franchise history. And a familiar soda is coming back to the shelves. Drew Davis, do you remember a Mr. Pibb?
I do remember Mr. Pibb. For the first time in decades, Mr. Pibb makes a comeback with a new look and a bold cherry flavor. Get this, the revived Mr. Pibb features 30% more caffeine. The Coca-Cola company rolling out the retro drink in limited regions, first with a national rollout planned for 2026. You know, Mark, you might not know this about me, but I love Dr. Pepper. And so, like, I also like Mr. Pibb. It's a very similar flavor, but that's a lot of caffeine. That's a lot of extra caffeine.
Because that's what you want with your soda, right?
Yes.
Just even more caffeine to bring it over the top.
I'm going to replace the coffee with Mr. Pibb.
See you again at 4, everyone. Have a great day.